In this video, I'm going to now put those two things together to show you how using top-down trading by analysing the higher time frame and then going down to the lower time frame to find good trades that you can enter with that will give you a high ROI trade is actually very, very simple. And the reason I'm doing this again is because I want you to realize that actually trading can be quite simple, but what's most important to bear in mind is the principle behind the trading, which is going for high reward trades. So if I take this chart here on the daily chart, let me just shrink it out a bit. And what we want to look for are good patterns on the daily chart. So we want to find where are the areas of energy likely to be on the daily chart. Well, the first thing is, in fact, let me just do this. The first thing is when you shrink out the monthly chart is that there is a level here which is a very powerful level. This is called a resistance level, a monthly resistance level. And what you can see is that when price reached this level, which was about the 124 area, it reversed very strongly back in 2006. I think it was 2006, 2007. Okay, 2007. And it hit that area again in 2015. Dropped down significantly, and now price has pulled back and hit another level of monthly resistance. Okay, so if I just go through here, if I just enlarge this a bit, you can see that what we've got here is what is known as a resistance zone, because this is where candles are closing and where they're spiking down to. So this has actually created a little zone. Price pulled back up to this zone back in at the end of 2016 and reversed from the zone and is now making its way down. We don't know what it's going to do next, but what we do now understand is what's happening on the monthly charts. This gives us a context to understand what's happening with our trades. So when we go down to the daily chart, we can see all the monthly lines, and we can now understand why the daily chart is behaving as it is. So let's draw in some daily lines to see where the daily energy is. Okay, so if I just put these here, this is called a trend line, and what you can see here, if I just bring it down a bit, okay, is that this has actually created a megaphone channel. I've drawn it a bit roughly here. And what I do is I colour the lines different colours so that I know the difference at a glance between what is a daily line, what is a monthly line, what is a 30-minute line, and I can see it all on one chart and it's very clear. So these are now my daily lines. Okay, so this is the area that we're interested in, okay, which is where, now you can see actually when we start to make it larger that actually these trend lines are more fanned out, that this is the outer trend line here and there's a little inner trend line here as well, okay? But I don't want to confuse you about that, so I'm just going to remove the inner trend line. That's not important for what you're learning at the moment. So we can see that price hit this trend line, and if we hadn't known that, let's say we were looking at this, okay, because remember this is all about being able to predict the future. We can't really predict the future, but we can look for where potential areas of energy will be, okay, where potential areas of diagonal or horizontal support or resistance will be, and we can make a prediction about what price will do on the basis of probability. And so when we move forward, because we know, for example, that price has been bouncing off this lower diagonal trend line, we can predict that if price hits this lower diagonal trend line, it is a place of energy, high energy. It will either break through or it will bounce and it will go back up again here. And if it goes back up again here, which it does, this is an area that we could look for a trade, what's called an upward, a long trade. Likewise, we know that if price hits the opposite side here, there's going to be a lot of energy in that move, and it will either break through or it will carry on down. But we know that the overall energy is down because we've got an area here of very strong monthly resistance. So we're looking now for a short trade, and we know this by the time price hits here. We know that. We don't want to get involved if price breaks through, but we want to see if price goes down, that's what we're getting prepared for, okay? So this is how you are already looking into the future by going on the higher time frames. And then, in fact, if I actually now just go down to the 30-minute time frame, this can actually make it easier. So we can see what's happening on the daily chart. Okay, so now what we want to do is put our channels in place, our 30-minute channels, to actually find ways to enter into this move to get these high ROI trades. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use an orange color, which represents 30 minutes or hourly. So I use orange for that. And we can see that on the 15th and 16th of May, we started getting this megaphone channel. Okay, and there was a key area, a key moment here, which happened on the 12 o'clock on the 16th of May. If I put a little shape there, okay, and it was the third bounce off this upper trend line, and it was a widening pattern. And if we had found a good entry here, which we could have done, because we know, if I just move this down a bit, we know that because of the area of probability, because price makes these patterns, we are looking for an entry to go short into the move, to go down into the move, and then what we want to do is put a stop loss on and hold on to the move to get a very good risk reward. So if we had entered, let's say, and got an entry of, let's say, 25, a risk of, let's say, 25 points on the move, at this point would be, well, at this area here, we would have been down to, we would have got a 1 to 10 ROI on the move, which is actually what I teach in my trading course, the 10 times ROI system, which is part of the high ROI trading course, which teaches you all these things. So that's it, but that is just putting two very, very simple things together, which is using the higher time frames to drill down and to find out, to predict what's going to happen in the future, and then looking for opportunities, very low risk opportunities on the lower time frame, and high probability opportunities because you have the daily or the monthly energy behind you, so it's more likely that price is going to move with momentum and force in that direction. By combining those two things together, you can achieve your goal, which is to get high return on investment trades.